Hello and welcome back to another Fear the Walking Dead video. Today I'll be doing the top 5 saddest deaths on Fear the Walking Dead. The criteria for this is they're dead and you have to die. But before we get into the video, if you look in the top right, there should be saying something that says click me. I recommend you click it if you want more Walking Dead content. I have over 100 videos now on the channel. Go check out some of them and you'll probably find something else you like. So let's get back to the video and go right into number 5, and number 5 is Nick's death. The reason why this is such a sad death is that Nick's death came out of nowhere. Like, most deaths on Fear the Walking and The Walking Dead only happen on big episodes like episode 1, 8, 9 or 16. Like, one of those 4 episodes when deaths happen. But Nick's death happened in episode 3 and it was just out of nowhere. It was an episode 3 death. You weren't expecting Nick to die, and it's just how quickly it happened. Nick was sitting there looking at flowers, thinking of his mum, to just suddenly be shot, and the slow realization, oh wait, Nick's dead, and everyone is there watching it, and you get to see everyone's reaction to it. But the worst bit is, you can clearly see how scared Nick is that he's about to die, and it's just, that's the worst bit. You see the fear in Nick's eyes as he takes his final breaths, and that's why it's at number 5. It couldn't be any higher because the aftermath of the death kind of ruins it a little, because he dies in episode 3, but there's tons of flashbacks, and he's up into episode 8 of the show, okay? He's in 5 more episodes in flashbacks, and they force you to like the murder of Nick, even though they give her no redeeming qualities. You're forced to like Charlie, and it ruins the death. Everyone remembers Nick's death for Charlie and how bad she is, which ruins the death. Even though it's such a sad moment, the aftermath is so bad and ruins it, in my opinion. Now we are moving on to number 4, and this will be Ophelia's death. The reason why Ophelia's death is so sad is how long it's drawn out. Ophelia was bit trying to save everyone in the bunker, only for everyone else to die but Alicia, because plot armor. And then to try and get to her dad's and wait for her dad at the big stadium, just to be mere minutes away, mere seconds almost, to seeing her dad again. And the worst bit is, Daniel is so excited to see his daughter again that he believed he killed, and to find out his daughter's alive, and he's rushing, he's getting there, okay, he's getting there, he's there, and he sees Madison and Ophelia sitting there, and he walks up, and Ophelia passes out just before Daniel gets there, and she dies just before Daniel gets together. And that's the worst bit. Daniel was mere feet away from Ophelia when she died, and they never got to reunite because of it. And that's the saddest bit. It's not sad that Ophelia's dead, it's sad because Daniel was that close from reuniting with his daughter, and he never got to do that. Now, moving on to number 3, it is Athena's death. If you don't know who Athena is, she was Grace's and Morgan's baby. The reason why this is so sad is the whole episode we're led to believe Grace dies, only for Grace to give birth to Athena, and Thea never take her first breath. The reason why this is so sad is we get to see how this destroys Morgan and Grace in different ways. Morgan becomes more reckless in the episodes after, and Grace kind of secludes herself and goes down a sort of spiral of isolation. The death just comes out of nowhere, and the worst bit is you get to see both characters' instant reaction to this. Like, the screams of how distraught Grace is really affects you, and Morgan's struggle to try and bring her back to life to no avail is just heart-wrenching. Now, moving on to second place is John Dory's death. The reason it's not a thirst and only in second is because it's almost a carbon copy of Nick's death, however slightly better executed. It's better executed than Nick's death, but it's a carbon copy of Nick's death. The reason why this is so sad, the whole episode, John Dory is planning to kill himself, and he's trying to work up the courage to shoot himself, but every time he does, a walker tries to come in, but he doesn't want to be eaten once he kills himself. And once it comes to the time of his death, he no longer wants to die. He realizes he has a point in life. His reason to live is to make sure Dakota gets a good life. He wants to make sure Dakota makes it out fine and gets help. But then he is just shot with no warning at all, and then pushed into the river to go down the river and die alone while bleeding out. The last thing we hear from John Dory is "not today," when he realises he doesn't want to die anymore. And the next time we see him is he's washed up where he used to live, dead, and his girlfriend has to put him out of his misery. The worst bit is, even though this is a carbon copy of Nick's death, Nick at least had his family around him. John Dory died alone, cold, and wet. He had no one with him, and that's why it's number 2. Now we're at number 1 of this tier list, and it is Travis's death. The reason why Travis's death is so sad is it comes out of nowhere, like Nick's does. It's on episode 2 of season 3, and Travis and his stepdaughter Alicia are in this helicopter, and the helicopter is being shot down, and a stray bullet hits Travis straight in the neck. And as he's bleeding out, he knows he's screwed, but Travis always thinks of his family, and he knows he's a pretty big man as well, so if he turns, no one in the chopper could take him down. So what's the first thing Travis does? He knows he's gonna die, so he goes towards the door, opens the door, and tries to jump out so no one has to see him turn. When Alicia stops him, Travis is begging her to let go, and then Alicia knows he's got this massive gash on his stomach. I don't know if it's a walker bite, but he's definitely going to die. And Alicia has to let go of Travis and let him fall to his death, so Travis could save Alicia one last time. And that is one of the saddest moments and the saddest death, I think, in Fear the Walking Dead, just because Travis is thinking about his family right till the end. And that is my list. What did you think? Please tell me, do you agree or disagree with this list? Do you think someone else should be on this list? Please tell me, I would like to know. And if you want more content, it should be on the screen somewhere. Go click. There's more lists, there's more reviews, anything. And I'll talk to you later. So goodbye and see you tomorrow.